a website all about entertainment to a TV channel devoted entirely to video games. Whatever did happen to interactivity between us and the world of cable TV? Well, European cable owners will soon have access to 25 Mega Drive games each month, thanks to the Sega channel. All the games are downloadable from cable subscribers using a special adapter which connects the cable TV line to the Mega Drive. There are over 3 million Mega Drives in UK homes alone, so Sega think they've hit upon a fine idea. And with games like Adventures of Batman and Robin and Garfield's Caught in the Act waiting to be downloaded, it looks like 16-bit games are about to find themselves back in the limelight all over again. There's been loads of them, they're one of the most popular types of games around, and there's going to be a load more. What am I talking about? Well, platform games, and here's 5 of our favourites. Platform games have been going since the beginning of gaming time. Golden oldies like Donkey Kong were the inspiration behind many of today's classics, like Super Mario Bros. 3. This has to be one of the best platformers of all time. It sticks with the traditional Mario gameplay style of jumping on enemies, solving puzzles, and finding hidden secrets. The final aim of the game is to rescue Princess Daisy, who's been kidnapped by the evil Bowser. But you'll have to battle through many treacherous levels before you get that far. Mario 3 surpassed its predecessors with new features like the raccoon suit, which meant Mario could fly, and lots of new enemies to defeat. With its mixture of pure playability, colourful graphics, and just the right level of difficulty, Super Mario Bros. 3 has to be one of the most addictive platformers of all time. And for the Mega Drive, we rate Mario's major rival Sonic in Sonic 2 pretty highly as well. Although the first game was excellent, all the improvements for the sequel made it a classic in its own right. These included better graphics and the addition of Sonic's pal Tails. All these years later, Sonic's still going strong, with loads of new games planned, but this will always remain one of the best. One step further in the technology race is Bug, the wide-eyed green insect with attitude. When Bug was released for the Saturn, it was noted for its innovative 3D style of gameplay, and it still takes some beating as far as graphics go. There are plans afoot for a sequel called, not surprisingly, Bug 2, but we'll just have to see if that can squash the first game. Staying with green creatures, Gex for the PlayStation gets our vote. Yep, even more attitude here. This gecko is one cool dude. He's been trapped in the TV world by the evil Rez and has to find remote controls to zap his way to freedom.
You are mine.
The animation and colourful graphics on this game really make it stand out, and Gex's ability to use his tail and tongue as lethal weapons instead of just stomping on enemies is very useful. Although Gex is available on a few other formats, we reckon it's the best platformer going on the PlayStation.
Shades on a fighting machine. Whip and tail, spit and fire.
And hey, we can't forget about the good old PC, and this is one format where platform games are really thin on the ground. But one that really stands out is Arcade America. This zany blend of arcade and platform action has you roaming around the States, or as its makers describe it, grunt, jump and belly bump around the US. And at certain points, you'll be greeted with a cut scene of something completely ridiculous and pointless, just to add to the fun.
Moving and grooving.
What's this guy think he's doing?
Giving you that nose job you always needed.
I cannot tell a lie. You do look a lot better.
See what I mean? We like this purely for its wackiness, but it's got lots of other things going for it, like smooth, fast animation and colourful graphics. And it's also pretty addictive gameplay-wise. And isn't that what all games should be like?
Bring me some sugar, baby. Yeah!
Get ready to hide behind the sofa from some scary rides, spooky CD-ROMs, and creepy aliens coming up. Every year, the interactive entertainment industry spends a whole lot of time and money making software it hopes that we'll want to rush out and buy. But often the problem isn't whether we want to part with our money, but when. When is that brilliant game we saw on TV or read about in a magazine finally coming out? When is it going to be finished?
It's not like in the old days we've had to learn as an industry. You can't just release hundreds of titles. You've got to release quality, and you've got to give the consumer the gameplay that they demand. And so therefore sometimes it can happen that these things have got to go back.
Slippage, as the continual pushing back of release dates is known, is nothing new. The first version of Theme Park hit the shelves in June 1994, but it was supposed to have arrived 6 months earlier. Today, it's happening more and more. It wouldn't be so bad if all these delays did mean better gameplay, but that's rarely the case. No, something else is going on.
Production values are driving much higher, and we're moving much more to a top 10, top 5, top 20 market. And so I think there was a day in which you could release a C title or a B title and basically do okay. Today, I don't think that's true. I think you're an A title, or you're not on the shelves.
It's official, these guys are scared. In the race to outshine each other, software companies have made us expect film quality effects, design and finish every time we switch on our console or PC. Not that there's anything wrong with progress, but if every game has to cost millions of dollars just so we'll give it a second look, it's not surprising that developers will only stop working on something when they absolutely have to.
It gives us a nightmare, of course, in terms of marketing, because you plan for a street day, you make all the advertising, you make all the point of sale, and then the developer comes back and he says, I'm sorry, it's going to be another month or so.
But what happens when that month stretches to a year or even 2? Heart of Darkness has been in production for 5 years, longer than your average movie. It could be the best video game ever made, but at this rate, it'll only make a profit if it does become a movie, a line of toys, or a successful cartoon series. For a few companies, games are almost works of art. If it's Mario's first trip into 3D, a game that could mean the success or failure of your new console, you give it as much time as it needs.
Nintendo have never, in its history, ever released a product that it wasn't absolutely 100% happy with. Nintendo is perfectionist in that sense.
Ready to go all gooey with me, Lούσι Λονγκχέρστ. Make friends with a floppy clayman in an incredible new game. Go ape with a classic. Take a ride on a flying snail and go wild with old Rubberface himself. Right here on Cybernet. Once upon a time, there were 2 children who went on a magical adventure in a giant flying snail to save all the animals of the world. No, this isn't a storybook, but the latest CD-ROM game for young people, Mortimer and the Riddles of the Medallion. You choose to become either Sid or Sally, whose pets have met with a sticky end.
Sid, you better come here. I think I found them.
Little kid, I'm picking up some kind of swarm. Dead ahead.
But you're on your own when a gatekeeper challenges you to solve a riddle. This one's a singing rock. Prove you know enough about the animal world and you'll win a piece of the medallion.
Answer this riddle to move on, my friend.
My answer is the baboon. The baboons groom each other's fur to socialize.
You got it, you got it.
Creators of legendary games like Rebel Assault. Will this new approach aimed at youngsters be as big a hit for the company? Well, with good animation and gameplay, a gripping storyline and 3 levels of difficulty to keep you challenged, it's unlikely to fail. Perfect for the young, this is a fine example of learning made fun. It'll keep you on your toes. Take a look at a new release, Tracer. A 3D adventure based on stealth and strategy. You choose a character and accept your mission.
The contract requires you delete personnel files at Metropole Center. This installation is AAA rated, so you'll need all your bandwidth to crack it.
There are 50 levels of cyber mazes to complete as you go deeper and deeper into a computer data core. If it looks technical, well, it is. Matching coloured key codes, you make your way across each level as a deadly tracer virus eats its way towards you. Lots of features have been designed to aid you in your task as you try to overcome microchasms and corrupted sectors. It may take a while to get to grips with them all, but once mastered, Tracer is a highly absorbing game, a sort of techno version of chess. And if it all becomes too easy, why not create your own entirely new levels with their own twists and turns? Brainpower and quick thinking are the keys to this game. You really do need to be quick on your feet, but if you're into computers and enjoy problem solving, it may be worth hacking into Tracer before it destroys you. Okay, I'm sure you all know about the N64 and how amazing the games are, but Mario's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, also designed another character, the legendary Donkey Kong. Then, 2 generations later, the original ape's grandson, also called Donkey Kong, swung onto the SNES in spectacular style in Donkey Kong Country. It caused a storm on its release, mainly for its graphics. What was it like creating a 16-bit game like this?
I think developing Donkey Kong on Super NES was extremely difficult. It was enjoyable, but it was difficult because we're trying to get the most out of a 16-bit system, trying to make it look like a 64-bit system.
Okay, it all looks very nice, but why have we chosen it for Game of the Week? Well, as far as playability goes, it's pretty good too. However, some people thought that the gameplay was a bit similar to other platformers, and they certainly had a point. It is just a platformer, but the game controls, hidden secrets, and its sheer size make it a winner. You can play the part of either Donkey or Diddy Kong, who each have their own abilities, and you can swap them around depending on the skill you need at the time. For example, although Donkey is slower, he can take out enemies with 1 stomp, whereas Diddy usually takes 2. But Diddy wins hands down in the speed and agility department, and he can often jump a lot higher than Donkey. There are loads of other characters in the game, but they're really just there to help you. For example, the Rhino will give you a ride and headbutt the odd baddie. And the Swordfish can guide you through the perilous waters and jab those evil fish with his nose. There are plenty of hidden secrets to find in the game, and these usually involve doing something out of the ordinary, like going left at the beginning of a level instead of right, or throwing a barrel at a certain part of the wall. The rewards for finding these clever devices are always worthwhile, like extra lives, power-ups, shortcuts, and bonuses. There are plenty of different levels which all add variety to the gameplay. There's a minecart section, an underwater one, and of course the platform levels, which are not as easy as they look. The game was such a success that Nintendo quickly released the sequel, not surprisingly called Donkey Kong Country 2. And for die-hard fans, a third game is almost finished. Rumour has it that it'll be even better than the other 2. Is that possible? Well, the best way to find out is to keep watching this show, and we'll let you know as soon as we've played it. In the meantime, how about playing the original? It's certainly got plenty going for it. Hey, I did all that without one banana joke. Well, if you ever finished DKC and got your hands on the sequel, grab a pen, because here's a brilliant cheat. If you think you've discovered every secret there is to find in the game, I bet you haven't found this one. Yep, we've got the key to finding 75 Krem coins. At the start of the game, go left into K. Rool's cabin. And then leave without collecting the red one-up balloon. Then go right and jump over the 2 bananas and pick up the next banana bunch you see. Then head back towards the cabin and jump over the 2 bananas again. This time, collect the balloon, leave the cabin, leap over the 2 bananas again and collect the bunch of 10 for a second time. You should now have 20 bananas. Are you still with me? Good. Yet again, go left over the 2 bananas and that's 75. switch for another jolt of Cybernet with me, Lούσι Lονγκχέρstst. Jump into the secrets behind the Olympics, take a sneak at a hot exclusive, find out if girls want something different, all before you can blink. It's all very well console owners getting excited over the hot new game releases this year, but what about PC owners? What's in store for them? Well, how about MDK, a game that lots of people in the industry are getting very excited about. It's set in the future like most games these days, and without wanting to bore you with the usual story about aliens invading planet Earth and causing all manner of destruction, your job is to bring peace and harmony to our world, a job, we are told, that will require a fairly strong stomach. You'll spend your time roaming the city, seeking out the enemy and sending them into oblivion, but what makes it all so fancy?
You can imagine playing a game where you have a helmet which can fire a bullet with pinpoint accuracy across the city and shoot the cup out of a hand of someone sitting in a room a mile away.
And it's this feature that's making MDK one of the most talked about PC games this year. For such a dark, brooding game, you might be surprised to learn that the makers of MDK are Shiny Entertainment, the people behind that fun-filled platform romp, Earthworm Jim. No flying cows or complaining grannies in this one, though. But before you ask me when you can get your hands on this, you need to know that you'll require nothing less than a Pentium-class machine to run it on, with plenty of memory. One of the best reasons to upgrade your PC so far. First there was one, then there were two, and now here's an exclusive look at the third part of the Micro Machines trilogy. Once again, you're in control of the miniaturized toy cars, taking up the challenge of beating up to 8 other speed freaks. This time, though, the makers have gone into overdrive with those crazy track designs. Try taking a spin around this breakfast table, but be careful not to slip and slide on the milk. Or storm your way along the garden path, avoiding all manner of weeds and overgrown flowers. Then it's a quick jump into the garden pond, gliding past floating lilies and other varieties of pond life. But why move over to the PlayStation with this title?
The power of the PlayStation does some unbelievable things with Micro Machines, and then it's all in a complete 3D environment. The camera moves all over the place. It's not just a top-down perspective, and it can make you feel really giddy. Like all the other Micro Machines games, it's best played as a complete multiplayer game. You can get so many friends involved, and I think we're having up to 8 cars on the track at once, zooming around in full 3D, all polygon, all rendered.
There'll also be 30 vehicles to choose from, all with different performance abilities, perfect for making your way around this messy kitchen. This is a very early look at Micro Machines 3, but from what we've seen, never has a racing game of such small proportions looked so fab in its presentation. Trying to brush up adventure gaming presentation is Azrael's Tear, a futuristic search for a relic that promises eternal life. I say futuristic, but the underground temple in which you search for clues and magic to help you definitely has a look and feel inspired by medieval times. The graphics engine doesn't live up to today's best, but this is all about atmosphere and careful plotting, not super smooth gameplay. As you delve deeper and deeper into the unknown, there'll be plenty of lost souls to haunt and hinder your journey. Who can you trust?
The only way forward is to follow my instructions to the letter.
Azrael's Tear is a real slow burner with far more attention being paid to script and characters than usual. If it sucks you in, you could find yourself stuck for a way out. If you're a sports fan and can't actually make it to an event, you'll probably manage to see it on TV instead. Around 3 billion people were expected to switch on for the Summer Olympics in Atlanta, which also meant listening to the commentary, unless the volume was down.
The English boys are fighting remarkably well. It's battle fix, battle fix. After all, the invincible. No one can stand up against his speed in a fast race.
If whoever you're listening to is any good at their job, they should sound like they know what they're talking about, even if they don't. Coming to the rescue for the 1996 games were those very organised people at IBM, with the Commentator Information System, or CIS.
We invite 197 countries so far to come to the Olympics, and each country has the right to send their own broadcast commentators and make their own presentation. So our goal is to provide real-time information that makes the commentator sound smart, sound intelligent.
With CIS at their fingertips, no commentator will ever have an excuse again. Biographies, best performances this year, how much better athletes need to become to be medal contenders, it's all here for every single competitor in every event as it happens. And if you've ever wondered how those up-to-the-minute statistics get on a computer in the first place...
Shot, 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 smash, shot, shot, hand.
Not a fun job, but an important one that's making its mark.
Well, statistics are needed everywhere, so the ability to have statistics for a sport like this assists the coaches, assists the press, and gives us facts to build our sport up into one of the top-class sports that it should be.
Each event needs a different way of inputting scores and tactics, so everyone gets a tailor-made bit of software to do the job right. Then, after the commentators get the info that makes them seem so smart, the same data is then pumped to public terminals around the Olympic complex and via global online networks to the rest of the world. IBM say that on any big day, there are plenty of backup systems to make sure the whole thing doesn't stop working, even if a commentator gets overexcited and hits the wrong switch. Mind you, with all this technology becoming so fast and so accurate, it does kind of take the fun out of waiting and waiting to see who did actually win gold in that photo finish. Now here's an interesting alternative to a reference library. If you're the kind of person who likes delving into books and reading up on history, you may be interested in Makers of the 20th Century. This CD-ROM has info on countless people who have influenced events over the past 90 years. 6 different sections distinguish between writers, actors, inventors, politicians, and every other conceivable genre of superstar. On the plus side, the interface introducing the various sections is stunning. Each virtual world has artistic and imaginative 3D images which take your breath away. Look at this one for design. And this, which introduces those who've influenced dance and sport. CD-ROM certainly can't be faulted on style, but does the content match up? Well, it's certainly informative. Each person you choose to learn more about has an impressively detailed biography and history, but as you delve through text, and yet more text, you do wonder what advantages this all has over your more traditional paper reference book. Okay, it's supported with loads of pictures and newspaper articles, and when there is audio and film footage, the whole thing does spring to life. For example, you can hear all about the Beatles' American tour.
Even the work. Yeah, we enjoyed it, you know, it was different. And we did a bit of water skiing.
This is a great way to read up on the movers and shakers of the 20th century. If the same imagination which went into the interface had extended to the contents, it could have been something really special. One of my favourite PC blasters is Descent 2, but if you're having as much trouble as I am on this one, then we've some codes coming up to help give you an edge. Just knowing where you are can be hard, so instead of seeing only part of the map where you've been, type R, O, C, K, R, G, R, and L while you're in play mode. Go back to the map screen and suddenly you can see how everything joins up. As you get better, the bad guys get meaner. We could tell you how to get all the weapons, but instead, to get whatever you are firing to bounce all over the place, type D, U, D, D, A, B, O, and O. Normally, your friendly, quiet guide bot just shows you which way to go, but you can let him shoot at things before you get there. Just punch in G, O, W-I-N-G-N-U-T, and off you go. Then again, why not have more than one guide bot? Every time you type H-E-L-P-V-I-S-H-N and you'll get another one. Do the previous cheat and it's your own squadron of fighting bots. They do all the work, you pick up all the bonuses. Even with these cheats, Descent 2 is still a real challenge. I haven't got to the end yet, and I'm not sure I ever will. Coming up, take a swipe at a virtual ball. And just what do girls want out of games anyway? The Call of the Wild beckons me now with this new multimedia package, Wide World of Animals. This is much more than just an info pack, though over 700 different species are covered, from wildebeests to watery predators. This CD-ROM really will appeal to the animal lovers amongst you, and we're not talking about your pet cats and dogs now. These reference cards give you loads of background and statistics on all living things from around the globe, like these velvet monkeys. Want to know more? There are mini-documentaries that go into great depth on various issues concerning the animal kingdom, accompanied by some fab footage.
Bodo dolphin use echolocation, which they inherited from their ocean ancestors. But to navigate the dark, tangled rivers they live in, they've developed movable vertebrae that allow their heads to twist in many directions.
Of course, when it comes to wildlife, there are many considerations for the amateur naturalist. So Wide World of Animals lets you explore various environments, check out the dioramas, which give you the sights and sounds of animals in their natural habitats. You can also find out how things like geography and climates affect the living kingdom.
Take a look at Central Asia and the Sahara Desert in North Africa. Animals living in these places tend to feed at dawn and dusk, hiding away from the extreme heat and cold in burrows or holes.
And learn how animals relate to one another with this taxonomy tree.
It's Stampede, the ultimate animal trivia challenge.
Then, once you've ploughed your way through the info, test your knowledge with a quiz. This is a very comprehensive and well-thought-out CD-ROM, where animals really do come to life. And with such a wide range of related issues covered as well, it should be pretty high on the shopping lists of those with a passion for the wild. They're extremely small and very blue, and some people find them cute and cuddly. But we're still not sure what to make of the Smurfs, bizarre little creatures with absolutely no dress sense. Well, now they've decided to smurf their way inside your home computer with the Tele-Transport Smurf, an extremely strange game which sees the blue ones witnessing the kidnapping of their beloved sweetheart Smurfette by Gargamel. He's holding a prisoner in his home and has put her to sleep for eternity. Oh no! So Papa Smurf decides, for one reason or other, that the Tele-Transport Smurf is their only chance of rescuing their companion. But to make this strange machine work, you have to find the magic ingredients which are scattered all over Smurfland. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Well, yes, but this is where the problem lies. This is a game for kids and should be easily accessible and instantly playable. It's all very well having a colourful intro sequence and lots of smurfing humour, but if the game is a real headache to pick up and play, it's going to fall flat on its face. Most of the challenges seem to have no logical explanation at first, and if we found them difficult to master, who knows what a 6-year-old will make of it all. The game also suffers from memory problems, which result in you having to fiddle with your PC's memory requirements to get it up and running. All of these problems are a real shame, as the game could have been lots of fun. If the programmers had put some thought into the game's execution, Tele-Transport Smurf might have given us all a smurfing good time. If I had $1 for every sports game that's found its way onto the games market, I'd be a very rich woman. There are hundreds of them on the market, from football through to, well, fly fishing. However, the problem with such a saturated market is that you're never too sure which game offers the most realism. Take this new tennis game from Acclaim, Virtual Open Tennis. Upon first inspection, it looks like it's going to be loads of fun, the next best thing to a day on centre court. But it's once you start practicing those slice serves, top spins and flat lobs that you begin to realise that all is not what it should be. For instance, we're really not impressed with the graphics. Why aren't the white lines on the court straight? And the surrounding scenery, like the trees in the distance, aren't at all easy on the eye. And when you move around the court, they jump all over the place. The actual players don't seem to respond well either, moving around like toy robots that have just about run out of batteries.